Hey, Matt Bacon here with part 4 of our series on how to launch your band. Now, part 1 was Monica talking about strategy, then I did a video about some of the assets you got to get together, and then Monica just did something about launching your social media. And obviously my cat feels the need to contribute, but I've tried to shoot this 5 times and he keeps interrupting. So, we're just going to power through. All this to say, so the first thing I want you to do once you've got your socials looking good, right, is I think it's really valuable to just press that invite all friends button, just as an easy way to sort of get the first 200-300 people there, and maybe get every band member to do it. Not everyone will, in my experience, but like get them to do it. And if you get those initial 300, 400, 500 people, then you're starting to look good. You're starting to get some traction, right? Now, beyond that, what I think is really important when you're launching your band is to start engaging more with some of the people you want to be engaging with. So if you're a metal band, I think you should go on Metal Archives and just look up bands in your city. And I think you can look up by genre in your city, which is amazing, because then you can just go start to make friends with those bands, follow them on Instagram, do all that good stuff, right? And so you're going to start really using this opportunity, just because now that you actually have the social set up, you just go follow them or on Instagram or comment on their stuff, and then they're like, oh wow, okay, they have a band. Suddenly you become a little bit more than just a person in the scene who doesn't have anything going on yet. So I think that's a really important first step. Right, then beyond that, once you sort of started to integrate a little bit more in terms of launching, I think it's really important to start letting people know what you're trying to do, right? So I think a lot of times you see band pages and it's kind of vague. It's like, are they got a show coming up? Do they have a demo coming out? So make sure that your posts, especially early on, are pointing back to that, and also make sure that the language you're using is kind of tying into the mood you want to create. So if you're a black metal band, being fun and upbeat probably isn't the right way to go. If you're a pop punk band, that might be a more appropriate way to approach things, right? So start to do that. You start to launch, and you start to launch kind of on brand, making sure people understand, like, okay, this is what this band is trying to do, this is what they're stoked on, and this is where they're going next, and you can kind of just communicate that with your messaging, just very subtly, even just saying, oh man, we're stoked to play with this band when you give them a shout out or something, or maybe show some of the stuff that makes you unique, because that's what you really have to do early on, because very frequently you are the X genre band who does Y. So you are the stoner rock band who are into skateboards. You are the metalcore band who really like Kiss, whatever. You really want to kind of figure out what your differentiating factor is, the unique selling point, if you will, and just double down, so that people can kind of identify, like, this is what this band is about, this is why we give a shit, yada, 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 right? And so I think that's a really important aspect when it comes to launching your band. It's just making sure that people know, oh wow, okay, this is why I should care. This is why these other people care, because people don't know you pressed invite all friends to like your page, right? And then you go from there, you can see my cat's tail. But the point being, I think that's really an important sort of next step, a next direction you're going to take this thing, right, is you got some people to like your page who you already know. Then you start, building your brand, and then you start to talk about your goals. And so now you sort of become much more pro-looking. I think there's a lot of time early on spent just kind of proving legitimacy, populating your page, etc., etc. I don't think people really take an Instagram account seriously when there's only 20 posts on there. And early on it might be worth posting, 3 or 4 times a day just to kind of get something going. And I know it takes time, and I know it's hard, but it's really about one thing. It's about making people in the industry, be that promoters, be that labels, be that whoever, realize that you're taking this seriously and giving yourself a bit of a presence, and the more you post, the more it's going to kind of generate that. Don't post too close together, but there's nothing wrong with posting 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night. That's what I strive to do. And if you can kind of maintain that consistency, if you can just keep that up, people are going to connect, and people are going to start to want to be a part of that because of what you're doing, So those are sort of the initial keys, right? Is get some of your friends to like your page, follow some relevant people. Hopefully they'll follow you back on Instagram. I'm very big into following all your friends. Don't worry about your ratio early on. Post a lot to kind of build legitimacy, and make sure all those posts kind of tie into your brand. And at that point, you started to launch something. You started to build a bit of a brand, that will get you going somewhere, so that then you can go hit up these other people, and it's cool, and you look a little bit more legit than a band with 3 posts on their Instagram wondering, why won't anyone answer my emails? You know, people look at that. Anyway, just a thought. Tune in next week. We've got the final phase of the launching your band. Look forward to seeing you there. Hey, thank you for watching that. Because I am terrible at YouTube, I forgot to ask. Please like, comment, and subscribe. That stuff really helps. I'm trying to get better at this YouTube thing. That's why we're doing these collaborations. So if you like, comment, and subscribe, it'll help me get somewhere a little bit faster, and I would really appreciate that. Take care.